The emergency call came through at 0347 Standard Galactic Time, crackling through the ancient communicator in Zia's cramped service van. She rubbed her eyes, already reaching for her toolkit before fully processing the distressed voice on the other end. "Please, I need help," the caller had said, her words carrying the distinctive harmonic undertones of a Zarathi. "My heating unit has failed, and the cold, it's killing me." Zia had thrown on her coveralls and grabbed her equipment without hesitation. Emergency calls were emergency calls, regardless of species or time of day. That was the human way. You helped when help was needed. The address led her to the outer rings of New Geneva Station, where the artificial gravity was weaker and the apartments cheaper. The Zarathi district mostly. Zia had worked here before. She knew the buildings were old, the infrastructure aging, and the residents often struggling to make ends meet. The door that opened revealed Anna, a Zarathi woman whose translucent blue skin had taken on a worrying gray pallor. Her forearms wrapped around herself for warmth, and her large, multifaceted eyes reflected genuine distress. What struck Zia immediately, though, was the weight of years in those eyes. Ancient, tired, but still holding a spark of dignity. "Thank you for coming so quickly," Anna said, her voice trembling slightly. "I am Anna Keth Morai, 7th Circle. I wasn't sure anyone would respond to a call from this district." "Zia Martinez," she replied, hefting her toolbox. "And I respond to every call. Where's the boiler?" Anna led her through a modest apartment filled with Zarathi artifacts. Crystalline sculptures that caught and refracted light, tapestries woven from what looked like starlight itself, and photographs spanning centuries. Zia noticed Anna moving carefully, favoring her left side and the way she paused occasionally to catch her breath. The boiler was ancient, a Zarathi Mark 7 thermal converter, the kind they'd stopped making 3 centuries ago. Zia whistled low as she examined it, running her hands over the elegant curved surfaces now pitted with age. "How long have you had this unit?" she asked, already knowing the answer wouldn't be measured in decades. "It was installed when I first moved here," Anna replied quietly. 29 years ago. I was young then, barely 200. I thought it would last forever." Nothing lasts forever, Zia thought, but she kept it to herself. Instead, she got to work, running diagnostics with her scanner and carefully opening access panels that hadn't been touched in centuries. The problem became clear quickly. The thermal coupling matrix had finally degraded beyond the boiler's ability to compensate. It was like a heart finally giving out after centuries of faithful service. "I can fix this," Zia announced, earning a gasp of relief from Anna. "But I'll need to fabricate some replacement components. The Mark 7 used a quantum resonant coupling system that they don't make anymore. I'll have to custom manufacture the parts." What followed were 6 hours of the most intricate work Zia had ever performed. She had to reverse engineer components from their quantum signatures, fabricate crystalline matrices using techniques that blended human engineering with Zarathi physics, and somehow convince a 900-year-old alien machine to accept parts made by technology it had never been designed to work with. It was the kind of challenge that made her remember why she'd become an engineer in the first place. Anna watched throughout, occasionally offering insights about the original installation or bringing Zia cups of a warming Zarathi beverage that tasted like cinnamon and starlight. They talked as Zia worked, about Anna's life spanning nearly a millennium, about the changes she'd seen, about family long gone and a universe that sometimes seemed to have forgotten her. "You know," Anna said during one of Zia's brief breaks, "I've called for repairs before. Other companies, other species. They all said the same thing. It's too old, buy a new one. But I could never afford a new unit. This apartment, this boiler, they're all I have left of my younger self." Zia felt something tighten in her chest. She'd seen this before. Elderly beings of all species trapped by poverty and age, slowly losing pieces of their lives because nobody cared enough to fix what could be repaired. When she finally restored power to the boiler and heard its gentle hum fill the apartment with warmth, Anna's reaction was everything Zia had hoped for. The old Zarathi's skin brightened to its natural luminous blue, and all 4 of her arms gestured in the traditional expression of overwhelming gratitude. "How much do I owe you?" Anna asked, reaching for her credit pad with hands that shook slightly. Zia looked at her toolkit, at the 6 hours of custom fabrication, at the components she'd had to create from scratch using techniques that pushed the boundaries of interspecies engineering. By any standard calculation, the bill should have been enormous, She thought about Anna's ancient eyes, about 879 years of memories tied to this small apartment, about dignity and respect, and the kind of person she wanted to be. No charge, Zia said quietly. Anna's multifaceted eyes widened. But your time, your materials. Sometimes, Zia replied, packing up her tools. The most important repairs aren't about the money. Sometimes they're about keeping someone's home warm. As she left, Zia could hear Anna calling after her, trying to insist on payment, trying to offer something, anything, in return. But Zia just smiled and waved, disappearing into the station's corridors. Later, her supervisor would ask about the job. Zia would file her report. Emergency repair completed successfully. Customer satisfaction excellent. Payment. Services donated to community outreach, because that's what humans did. They fixed things that were broken, helped those who needed help, and sometimes, just sometimes, they did it simply because it was right. In a galaxy full of species that measured everything in profit and efficiency, humanity's greatest strength remained unchanged. They gave a damn about individuals, even 879-year-old Zarathi women who just needed their boiler fixed. That night, as Anna sat in her warm apartment surrounded by centuries of memories, she understood something fundamental about humans that many species missed. It wasn't their technology or their aggression that made them remarkable. It was their capacity for kindness to strangers. And somewhere in the maintenance logs of New Geneva Station, a single line entry read, "Human plumber fixes 879-year-old boiler. No payment required. Humanity fuck, yeah."